Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's now time to focus on yesterday's momentous events in Kwara State, where persons purportedly acting in the interest of the state government demolished a structure built to cater to the welfare of old people and other destitutes. Joining us now to discuss the immediate and likely remote implications of these incidents against the backdrop of the internal dynamics of Kwara State politics is Eniola Bello, a frontline journalist and managing director of THISDAY newspapers. Bello has been closely following the politics of the North Central region of Nigeria, where he incidentally hails from. Good morning.
Morning.
Good
morning.
Thank you.
Welcome. Well, the last time you were here, we were discussing Kogi elections. Now it is demolition of Saraki's property at 3:30 a.m. by Governor Abdulrazak. What exactly is your assessment of what is going on? Is the governor right to order that buildings be demolished at 3:30 a.m.? The excuses that have been given by the governor, do you think those excuses make sense? Or you think this is just a case of political vendetta, a continuation of the Otoge assault on the Saraki family?
Before talking of whether the government is right or wrong, let's look at the issues, separate the facts from the politics. The fact was that land in question was bought by the state government in the 70s from the Jida family. I was scheduled to be part of the extension of the secretariat. You know, he was walking distance to Saraki's house. That is the elder Saraki, the day Saraki.
Yes.
Now, Oloye, yes. I was walking to his house, and the Saraki, I mean, Oloye, the base of his politics then, which is one continuous governor, was to share goodies to women generally, wherever he was in Lorraine. You know, give them money, give them clothing materials, give them all sorts. It was a normal thing. Wherever he was in Lorraine, they would storm his house, they would follow him from the airport, whatever the women were doing, they would abandon and go to his house. Now, the population of the place perhaps was too much for his residence, so he wanted a property where they could also use for that purpose. So, he had that place, I wanted to apply to take it over. Now, under Lawal, the government then refused that this place was to serve for secretariat. It was right there in the government system. They fell out with Lawal. I wouldn't know whether one of the reasons they fell out was that particular plot of land, but they fell out. And got Lawal, stopped Lawal from getting the second term. And his son became governor, Bukola Saraki. Now, Bukola Saraki now gave the land to his father. Now, you have to look at it. Is it right? Will you call that one abuse of office for his son to give a piece of land to his dad without from the file? What the state government is saying that from the file there was no application form. Normally, when you apply for land anywhere, you fill a form applying for that land. What they saw was an offer as an investment owned by Oloye Saraki. There was no application at all. That's one.
In a country where records are not properly kept, is it possible that, those documents, if they existed at all, were not properly kept and they may have been tampered with or they may have been withdrawn?
It's not impossible, but let's just go on. There was no evidence of payments. Now, the amount to be paid was 1,052,000 or thereabout. There was no evidence of payments. And there was no right of occupancy or CFO, whatever it is, in the file that the government saw. Now, as a section in the letter of offer, I would take liberty to just read part of it. Section 3 says, you shall not occupy or develop the plot until 1, the premium demanded above is paid in full. 2, approval for the grant of right of occupancy is formally conveyed to you and you have accepted it. So on those two conditions, if you don't fulfill them, you cannot take over that property. Now, there is no evidence at all in the file that the Sarakis met those conditions. Yes, they took over the land. Now, you did ask one question, whether it's possible where, because those people can understand for the file. If they have, how come Saraki will not have his own copy? Because when you apply for land, you are giving a letter of occupancy. You should have a copy of it. Saraki has not come up with his own copy to say this is the copy of right of occupancy. He was governor at the time. He went to court. In the papers filed in court, the title deeds to that land was not written on that. Oh, you're saying that I acquired this property legally. Now, how? What the title deed? The only thing they wrote there was the number of the property, the plot number, not the number of the right of occupancy.
So this,
which is strange. I said, lawyer is either incompetent or that title doesn't exist.
But unfortunately, Mr. Bello, it's actually not strange because our political class is in the habit of helping themselves, if I can put it that way. But what should the proper procedure be at this point? The government is making this claim that the necessary documents are not in the file, which can lead us to assume that they were never filed. Should the government have presented a bill to the Saraki family instead of carrying out this clandestine demolition?
What the government is saying, say, look, this land was a government land meant for so and so to build a secretariat extension, and that there is no other place they can use. That civil servants don't even have office space right now, that they now rent properties, and they don't want to go to another place because of the proximity of the government offices. So they want to have a central energy system, whereby instead of every ministry by generator, every government agency by generator, they will have a central power system that will cater for all this, which looks reasonable to me. And they have also taken into Saraki, say, look, we can give you another place to, another plot of land to be. As far as they are concerned, officially, these are empty plots. Nobody should be there.
Because
and in any case, the Sarakis, they have not developed anything there. So there's no structure there except...
what of those buildings that were demolished?
Those are just like, we will not, we are only call whether they are the kind of building you're talking about. There's essentially small, some rickety stuff where they keep security or wherever they want to share things.
Because I have to ask you, we've highlighted one habit of the political class. We have to highlight another one, still looking at the larger picture.
Yes.
We don't understand the concept of magnanimity in victory. The Otoge tsunami happened. One would have hoped that the governor would just get on with the business of, I don't know, implementing minimum wage, more pressing issues than this seeming vendetta.
No, well, when it's called vendetta, I'll come to the politics. I'm just looking at the facts of the case first. Now, the issue is, was Governor Saraki right in allocating that plot of land to his dad? Was he right in not having the right papers?
No, the fact that he is governor,
yes,
wouldn't mean that his father cannot apply for land.
Absolutely,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's within the prerogative of the governor to assign.
Like, the process. You can apply for land, but there has to be a process. You have to follow the process. You have to pay the necessary fees. You have to have a right of occupancy.
But anyway, the trustees of the Saraki Legacy Trust have gone to court in a case titled, as I quoted earlier, Asa Investments Limited versus Governor of Kwara State and others. Those others include the Commissioner for Land, the Attorney General of Kwara State and all of that. Now, that case had already been taken to court. Why didn't the governor wait for the case to be determined and for all of these facts to be provided?
Yes, and let the court order
on the basis of evidence, the court will
if anybody has to
Don't you think the governor is acting as the judge and the jury in his own matter?
That is the policies of it. The government understands the game plan. You know how a process is. Somebody abuse of office as governor is now going to court to also abuse the judicial process. The point is that take it to court, tie it down in court for the next 10 years. By then, this government will have been over.
I don't understand. Are you saying that because the judicial process is slow, then people should just take the law into their hands and resort to self-help?
It sounds like that's what you just said.
No, well, that's your interpretation of it. That's not what I said. The point I'm making is this. Let's look at the policies of it. Now, there's been a rivalry between the Sarakis and the Abu Razaks. There was a claim by the late... the father of the governor then, that he was the one that brought the grandfather of Saraki or wherever it is to Ilorin from Cote d'Ivoire. But then the Saraki got to Kwara and dominated everything. They took over everywhere. Became the beginning and the end of Kwara politics. Now, along the line, the there was issue of arrogance, there was issue of not really bothering about other people's interests. And there had been a coalition of forces to get out the Sarakis for a long time until the Otoge movement came up. Now Saraki understands power and its uses. As governor for 8 years, as senator president, as senator and senate president for 4 years, as a member of the KG cabinet of the late Yaradua, before the man died, he grew up in a house of power because his father was senate president and controlled Kwara politics. So he understood the uses of power. Saraki, if there was a change of position and he was the one in charge now, he would have done worse than what they accuse him of. Now, politicians are very funny. When they're in power, they use the power anyhow. But when you get them out and they're getting the brunt of power, rather than move on, they start talking about persecution, abuse, or whatever it is, and we buy into it. I don't think so. They are all cut from the same cloth. If you know how to give, you should know how to take. When you were there, you were giving to everybody, viciously using the power against your political opponents. Because Saraki was very vicious. When he became governor, he took out Lawal. Everything Lawal stood for, he took everything out.
So you agree that this is a case of vendetta? Political vendetta.
I said, it's politics. It's politics. If you were there, the first thing is Saraki has the resources, material resources, human resources, to still give this government a very serious fight. It's a serious fight. He has the resources to do it. He knows the people. He's been there, so he knows how it works. Now, if you allow him, it could be a threat to the government. And if I were in the governor's shoes, I would ensure that, just as Saraki was the one who didn't allow any of opponents to succeed, he destroyed all his opponents, viciously using the power of the state. If I were in the governor's shoes, I'm not talking about the politics now, if I were as a student of power, if I were in that shoe,
you sound like
I would have done the same thing.
You sound like you are justifying the abuse of power in the name of politics.
I don't regard it.
Like you can abuse power if it
I don't
the end justifies the means.
I don't see it as abuse of power. What I'm saying is that when politicians behave and abuse power and they leave office and somebody is also doing certain things to correct what they have done or what they did, they should not cry. Like
anyway,
they don't be like crybaby.
We'll need to take a short commercial break.
And strategize.
Let's take a short commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue. You're still watching The Morning Show here on Arise News.
Welcome back to The Morning Show here on Arise News. We're still with Eniola Bello, a frontline journalist and managing director of THISDAY newspapers, on the current imbroglio in Kwara State regarding the demolition of Ile-Arugbo. I mean, who goes and demolishes something named Ile-Arugbo? Yes, for the people's welfare or what have you. So it does look dreadful. But beyond that, we're talking before the break about the sort of Machiavellian tactics our politicians tend to all employ. And you're saying this is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun, really. The next governor, as long as he's not from the stable of Governor Abdulrazak, will do the same thing to him, and on the cycle will continue. At what point does it stop? At what point do we all demand that governance is really the priority, not these petty issues of my grandfather but your father and what have you? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And somewhat beside the point, when you look at even the governor, his own statements about the dire emergency in all aspects of public life in Kwara State, is this really the priority? Is this the kind of mess that should be made at this point?
Well, just a little clarification about Ile-Arugbo. Ile-Arugbo means people's home. Yes. That is the meaning. But in terms of what is there on ground, it's not a home. There are not old people living here. So it's not a home like that where you say there are old people there and they were sent out, sent parking.
Please clarify exactly what that building is.
No, that place is where it's the shrine of Saraki political family. This is
what?
Like a shrine. When I say shrine, not shrine where you worship.
Okay. It's
a political shrine because it is where the people go to wherever Sarakis want to give out largesse. That's where they meet.
Like an open space.
Open space, yes. where they give them money, they give them food, they give them clothing materials and stuff. Just distribute things to them. So that's what it's meant for. So they call it variable, yes. But in terms of the actual, whether it's a home, it's not a home. Nobody lives there. There are no old people there. Just like empty space.
So, but it does sound awful, and the optics are awful, clandestine demolition in the dead of night. And I want to ask you again, I think I raised it before, if this land had been acquired, let's use that word,
yes,
by somebody called Eniola Bello Abati, would this have happened? Would they have gone in and demolished the building in this fashion?
Maybe not. Not likely. Not likely, because the point like I made.
Let me add to that. You know, it will have looked different if the state government was doing an audit of, land allocation, say in the last 15 years, set up a committee, and then the committee comes up with the report, and then there are other illegally acquired plots of land, and these plots 1, 3, and 5, purportedly owned by the Sarakis, happens to be, part of it. Wouldn't that have been different? Instead of this attempt by the state governor, because that's how it looks to an outsider, targeting the Saraki family, because it's not the only property that is in dispute between the state government and the the state government, or Governor Abdul Razak.
Yeah, the one on Alimi Road,
specific,
also was asked to be taken over, and the reason is it was a pension. There's this pension law where the law says to give a property worth 250 million naira to a former governor. Now, Saraki got that property based on that pension law. But then he also got another one and asked the state government to pay for that, although it's 250 million, but he wanted to spend, the value of that property was more than 250 million, but he will pay the difference. And the state government paid the owner, the owner, person who sold the property to him, they paid that directly to that person. Now, the issue is that he now has 2 properties on that pension law. He's supposed to have 1, not 2. So that's the basis of why the other one is the contention.
Yes, but you know that the pension law has been quite contentious across the country, and there are some states where some former governors even have up to 6 buildings,
which is wrong.
Paid for by the state government. But was it right, for the state governor to deploy a demolition squad at 3:30 a.m. and with gunshots and tear gas?
Well, it looks strange.
It looked like an invasion.
Yes, it looks strange, eh?
It was an invasion, not a demolition exercise.
Well, it looks strange, like I said, but again, they claim they have not gotten the court order. That's what the state government claims.
Okay, can the state government claim that they have not gotten the court order with regards to PDP's Jimoh Agbola? There's a problem with that, where the PDP is appealing to the Nigerian Governors Forum with regards to this gentleman from PDP to allow him to be sworn in and represent Ilorin South. Again, the governor is looking like he holds court orders in absolute contempt.
I haven't followed that particular case, but then that would be quite wrong if the governor is not to obey court orders.
Well, clearly, we have a situation on our hands in Kwara State, which has long-term implications, not just for political relationships, but also for peace in Kwara State. Because what happened? What has happened now? Do you see any possibility that there could be pro-Saraki protests, there could be a breakdown of law and order? And what is the best way forward?
Well, I don't see possibility for any protest because I know the Ilorin elite generally, they are very happy with the development of...
It's not the elite that will protest.
People, yes, the people.
It's the people.
Now, for me, the point is this. I have no pity for politicians across board when they are out of office,
present company,
whatever, because they all do the same. When they are in office, they do all sorts. They abuse their office, they abuse the power, they deal with their opponents ruthlessly. And when they are out of office and they just become a victim of the small dose of what they did to others, they start crime persecution.
So you're not moved by former Senate President's outrage?
No. I don't fall for such things.
So in other words, you are endorsing what the governor has.
Let me give an example. Not endorsing. I'm just saying that I have no pity for them. Muhammad Ali was great in boxing. Not so much because of the fact that he moves like a butterfly, which was important, or that he stung like a bee, which was also important, but because he gave, he took as much as he gave. Now, there are people that's listening who were taking people out anyhow, but nobody gave it to them until Ali came. The same thing as Foreman, who was beating people into a plump, but nobody would give it to him until he met Ali. But Ali was taking as much as he was giving. And whenever he was giving and got beaten, he wouldn't cry. He would move on and go and strategize and go and plan to come back. That is what I think a politician should do.
Well, you see, this thing goes beyond Bukola Saraki as a person. Because I think in the face of this incident, other members of the family are also protesting that the land belongs to the Saraki family and that this is a case of victimization. I cite the example of the Minister of State for Transportation, Eniola Saraki, who is a sister to Dr. Bukola Saraki. So it's not just about Dr. Bukola Saraki and what he did as governor. It's a family now, that feels that they are being unfairly targeted.
Well, it's rather unfortunate. He's also a politician.
Who?
Saraki.
I bet she was not governor. And she said, look, you cannot violate our father's heritage and legacy just because you are in power.
Perhaps the court will finally decide, so there's possibly a case in court.
Which they're doing. And there's a case that's pending before this demolition happened. I just really feel that it's clear that if it was anybody else, they'll be given the chance to regularize the papers that the state government claim are not.
Well, that is in the realm of possibility.
But what do you recommend as a way out of this impasse?
Well, I will advise the governor to, in the light of the case of what appeared to be disobedience of a court order, to kind of put a hold to the process for now until that one is
and allow the court to determine.
Yes.
And that until that happens, both parties involved should conduct themselves like, peaceful citizens of Kwara State. And what will you say to the governor? He seems to be distracted. I mean, many of these governors assumed office in May, and particularly in Kwara State, we've not seen any momentum.
It took 7 years to get 7 months to get a cabinet.
Yes, beyond the demolition of buildings around town, what kind of priorities again should the governor be focusing on? Otherwise, he may be remembered as Governor Demolition.
Kwara is facing so many challenges that any serious person should be able to highlight and face clearly. Challenges in water, in provision of water, in road infrastructure, in so many other areas. So I believe the things are there cut out for him on what he needs to do.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Eniola Bello. Thank you very much.